Did you know that over 130,000 children in the UK are currently homeless? That's enough to fill Wembley Stadium 1.5 times. And it's not just London. From the seaside towns of the north to once bustling cities in the Midlands, parts of Britain are collapsing in plain sight. Empty houses, shuttered shops, rising crime, and families living in tents or cars. What's happening to our cities? This isn't just about rough sleepers you pass on the street. It's about entire communities. Forgotten, struggling, and on the edge. We're counting down the top 10 cities in the UK that are falling apart the fastest due to poverty, homelessness, and a system that seems to be failing more people every day. Each city tells a heartbreaking story. Some are suffering from broken industries, others from skyrocketing rent, and many are victims of deep cuts to public services. You might be surprised to find your own hometown on this list. Or worse, realize it could be next. So stay with us, because what we're about to reveal is more than a list. It's a warning, and it's happening right now. Number 10. Blackpool. Once a jewel of the British seaside, Blackpool was the place families dreamed of for their summer holidays. Roller coasters, candy floss, and sandy beaches. But behind the bright lights and nostalgic memories, a much darker story is unfolding. Today, Blackpool holds a shocking title. It has the highest rate of child poverty in England. More than 4 in 10 children here are growing up below the poverty line. Walk just a few streets back from the iconic promenade, and you'll find rows of boarded-up homes, vacant hotels, and families packed into run-down flats. Many of these buildings are now used as temporary housing, with people crammed into conditions that are barely livable. Why did it all fall apart? Blackpool's economy was built on tourism, but as foreign holidays became cheaper, visitors stopped coming and jobs vanished. With no new industries to replace them, unemployment soared, and along with it, mental health issues, addiction, and homelessness. The town now sees one of the highest rates of drug-related deaths in the country, and its life expectancy is among the lowest in the UK. Local services are overwhelmed, and while community groups fight to help, they're up against a storm that's been decades in the making. Blackpool isn't just a town in trouble. It's a warning of what happens when a place is abandoned. By the economy, by opportunity, and too often, by government policy. And the worst part? For many here, there's nowhere else to go. Number 9. Bradford. In the heart of West Yorkshire lies Bradford, a city full of culture, history, and one of the youngest populations in Europe. But despite its potential, Bradford is crumbling under the weight of deep-rooted poverty and social neglect. Here's the harsh truth. More than a third of children in Bradford live in poverty. Entire families are stuck in a cycle that's almost impossible to break. Low wages, high housing costs, and a shortage of opportunities. Many schools in Bradford struggle with funding. Some classrooms are overcrowded, and others lack basic resources. For the city's youth, the dream of a brighter future often feels just out of reach. Unemployment among young people is among the highest in the UK, and thousands of households rely on food banks just to make it through the week. The number of people placed in temporary accommodation has tripled in recent years. What's worse, those who do find work are often trapped in zero-hour contracts or underpaid gigs, unable to save or plan for a stable life. But here's where you come in. Do you know someone from Bradford? Or maybe you're living there right now. Drop a comment below and tell us what you're seeing on the ground. Your voice matters and helps shed light on stories the headlines often ignore. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more real, unfiltered looks into life across the UK. This journey is just getting started, and the truth only gets deeper from here. Number 8. Hull. Hull doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't make front-page headlines. But walk its streets long enough, and you'll feel it. The quiet unraveling of a place that once held so much promise. Once a thriving port city, Hull was built on trade, fishing, and grit. But as industries shifted and shipping routes changed, the docks emptied. And so did the hope that came with steady work. Today, Hull faces some of the highest poverty and unemployment rates in the UK. But here, the crisis is quieter. It hides in empty shops, in the faces of parents skipping meals so their kids can eat, and in the silence of closed youth centers that once kept children off the streets. Drug-related deaths have spiked. Mental health services are stretched so thin they're nearly transparent. And the city's life expectancy has dropped below the national average, creating a haunting statistic. People in Hull are, quite literally, dying younger. Yet, there's a strange resilience here. Locals speak of community, of looking out for one another, even when there's nothing left to give. Church halls double as food banks. Volunteers do what government funding no longer can. Hull isn't in chaos, it's in quiet crisis, and that might be the most dangerous kind of all, because what collapses slowly often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Number 7. Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough isn't just struggling, it's been on life support for years. Once the heart of Britain's steel industry, this town helped build the very bones of the country. But when the factories shut down and the jobs vanished, what was left behind was more than unemployment. It was generational loss. Today, Middlesbrough ranks as one of the most deprived towns in the UK. Nearly half of its residents live in poverty, and in some areas, the average life expectancy is a full decade shorter than wealthier parts of the country. You can see the damage everywhere. Abandoned shops lining the high street. Young people with degrees, but no jobs to match. Children growing up thinking that struggle is just the norm. Universal credit is the lifeline for thousands here. Yet even that barely covers rent and heating. And behind closed doors, a quieter epidemic is growing. Depression, substance abuse, and hopelessness. Middlesbrough's homelessness crisis isn't always visible. It's the teenage boy sleeping on a friend's sofa. The single mom choosing between nappies or dinner. The pensioner heating one room because gas is too expensive. This isn't just a town in decline. It's a community forgotten, ignored by policy, and written off by perception. But its people? They're still here, still fighting, still hoping someone, somewhere, will finally see them. Number 6. Stoke-on-Trent. I remember when Stoke-on-Trent was known for its craftsmanship, the city that shaped fine china and ceramics, the famous potteries. There was pride in the work, and generations built lives from it. Now, the kilns have cooled. The factories are mostly silent. And the pride, it's harder to find. Stoke is now one of the most deprived areas in England. Drive through parts of it, and you'll see entire streets of crumbling terrace houses, some boarded up, others just barely standing. But it's not just the buildings that are falling apart. It's the safety net. Homelessness has skyrocketed here in the last 5 years. People sleep rough in doorways or under rail bridges, hidden from sight. And even those with roofs over their heads are often stuck in damp, overcrowded, poorly maintained housing. Local services? Cut to the bone. Libraries closed. Youth centers shut down. If you're struggling, there aren't many doors left to knock on. What's worse, many here feel like they've been blamed for their own hardship, as if poverty is a personal failing, not the result of decades of economic neglect. But beneath the hardship, there's something fierce in Stoke. A toughness, a refusal to go quietly. Still, it's hard not to ask. How long can a city keep patching the cracks when the whole structure is sinking? Number 5. Birmingham. Birmingham was once called the workshop of the world. Today, it's at risk of becoming a cautionary tale for every major city in the UK. This isn't a slow decay, it's a financial emergency. In 2023, Birmingham City Council declared itself effectively bankrupt, the largest local authority in the UK to do so. That collapse sent shockwaves through a city already on edge. Public services slashed, homelessness rising, and entire communities left wondering who, if anyone, is still looking out for them. Over 23,000 people in Birmingham are now on the housing waiting list. Emergency accommodation is overflowing. Families are being moved into hotels miles from their children's schools with no idea when they'll find a permanent home. Youth services? Gutted. Community centers? Gone. Even bin collections have become irregular, a small but symbolic sign of the city slipping. What's fueling this collapse? A perfect storm of budget cuts, underfunding, rising demand, and bureaucratic failure. And behind the headlines are real people, working full-time jobs but still unable to afford rent, heating, or even food. In Birmingham, the crisis isn't hidden. It's on the streets, in the schools, and on the faces of the thousands slipping through the cracks. This is what it looks like when a system built to support millions begins to break under its own weight. And the worst part? It's the fifth city on this list, and we're only halfway down. Number 4. Liverpool. Liverpool has always had a voice. It's in the music, the football chants, the poetry of its people. But lately, that voice has grown quieter, drowned out by hardship. Behind the bright lights of the docks and the glossy regeneration projects lies a city where nearly 1 in 3 children lives in poverty. In some wards, that number rises to more than 50%. It's the kind of poverty that's hard to measure, not just in empty wallets, but in missed meals, in cold bedrooms, in young dreams delayed or destroyed before they even get going. Once a proud port and industrial giant, Liverpool has faced wave after wave of economic storms, from the collapse of shipping to Thatcher-era cuts to post-Brexit aftershocks. And now, gentrification is pushing communities out of their own city. Fancy flats rising, while social housing crumbles. The waiting list for a council home stretches endlessly. And in the meantime, people are being priced out, pushed aside, or packed into temporary housing far from where they grew up. Food banks have become a lifeline. So have warm banks, opened in churches and libraries just so people can escape the cold during winter. Yet even in all this, Liverpool refuses to fall quietly. Its streets still echo with resistance, resilience, and the unbreakable Scouse spirit. But the question now is, how long can pride carry a city when policy keeps pushing it down? Number 3. Leeds. On the surface, Leeds looks like it's booming. Glass skyscrapers, trendy cafes, a tech scene on the rise. But take a short walk away from the city center and the gloss begins to crack. This is a city divided. One side is thriving, the other is surviving. Leeds has seen a sharp increase in homelessness, but it's not always visible. People aren't always sleeping on the streets. They're sofa surfing, stuck in hostels, or living in overcrowded flats. This is what experts call hidden homelessness, and it's exploding here. Students, young professionals, single parents, all squeezed by rent hikes, energy bills, and the cost of just staying afloat. Despite being one of the UK's largest cities, Leeds has a shortage of affordable housing, with demand far outstripping supply. And those who fall behind, even by a little, are falling fast and hard. Food bank use has more than doubled since 2019. Mental health services are overwhelmed, and working people, nurses, teachers, retail staff, are quietly skipping meals and pretending everything's fine. This is a different kind of collapse. It's not dramatic. It's gradual, silent, exhausting. Leeds is growing on the outside, shrinking on the inside. Because when success is measured in luxury flats, not in lives lifted out of poverty, who is that success really for? Number 2. Manchester. Manchester doesn't hide its crisis. You can't miss it. Tents under bridges, rough sleepers in doorways, sleeping bags tucked behind train stations, church steps, and shop shutters. It's all out in the open, and it's getting worse. In 2024, Greater Manchester recorded its highest number of rough sleepers in over a decade. And for every person you see on the street, there are many more trapped in temporary housing, unsafe hostels, or nowhere at all. It's not just the unemployed. It's delivery drivers, NHS staff, single moms working full-time, people doing everything right and still not making it. Rent prices have skyrocketed. Social housing is vanishing. And the wait for help? Endless. There's a growing drug crisis, too. Addiction services are overwhelmed. Spice and heroin have taken hold of entire corners of the city, turning public squares into open-air rehab wards with no staff. Manchester is fighting back. Don't get it twisted. There are local heroes, community kitchens, outreach workers, but they're fighting a system that seems set up to fail. It's a city of contrast. Crane-covered skylines on one side, and streets lined with suffering on the other. In Manchester, the collapse isn't creeping. It's happening in real time, right in front of everyone. And still, somehow, it keeps getting worse. Number 1. London. At the top of this list is London, the beating heart of the UK, and perhaps its most tragic paradox. Here, billion-pound developments rise into the sky, while just streets away, entire families sleep in cars, hostels, or on the pavement. London has it all, and it's losing control of it all. This city now has the highest rate of homelessness in the UK. More than 170,000 people in London are without a permanent home. That's 1 in every 50 Londoners. And it's not just rough sleeping, it's overcrowded flats with 6 people sharing one room. It's mothers and children stuck in B&Bs for years. It's the working poor, cleaners, carers, couriers, who simply can't afford to live in the city they keep running. Rents are brutal. Food prices are climbing. And social housing? It's disappearing, replaced by luxury apartments that sit empty as investment assets, never meant for real people at all. The wealth gap here is vast and visible. On the same block, you'll see a supercar parked outside a 5-star hotel, and a man curled under a blanket, shivering in the doorway. This is what collapse looks like in the capital. Not from bombs or fires, but from neglect, from greed, from policies that protect property over people. London isn't just a warning, it's a mirror, and the reflection should make us all uncomfortable. This isn't just a list, it's a cry for awareness. If your city was on this countdown, or if you've witnessed the struggle firsthand, drop your thoughts below. Your story might be the one that wakes someone up. Check out our previous video to see which UK towns are fighting back, because not all hope is lost. And if you believe these stories deserve to be heard, support us with just one click. Subscribe now. It means the world to us.